hello. So, in a few moments of you taking some breaths, breathing, we lost Dean. He fell off the T-Rex.
F's in chat for Dean, boys.
So we can, in those few moments, that same hobbled male drow will come over with a drow woman. She's wearing what's, best described as a sort of bodysuit that almost appears to be, it's a very sort of shiny, deluxe blacks fabric. And she's, she's not pretending. She's carrying a whip in her hand. She's kind of got it taut. It's made of a similar black material. You can kind of see almost like a swirl of silver that runs through it. And she's moving with a very dominant strut. It's the kind of walk where she's almost zigzagging with her stride. And she walks over and she puts both arms like on the roof of this chamber. And she just peers at Serena. Interesting thing about her as a drow, her hair is a deep, deep black. Kind of rolls down like a waterfall off down her shoulders and further down. And she kind of, just looks at Serena.
Serena just matches her stare with as much regality as possible, just like...
This lasts for a little bit. There's just two shadow women staring at each other. And then she'll walk a little bit closer and say, well, maybe you are blessed by the Empress. You definitely have all the appropriate features. Maybe.
And you? Are you similarly blessed? Have I finally met a sister?
I suppose. I wouldn't quite have the desire to call myself the child of the Empress, but I am definitely one of her chosen. Chosen to do her will here in this city of intrigue and spies and houses that are conspiring against each other. There is so much work to be done. I'm glad to have someone else to help. Someone else who seems at least slightly capable, unlike... She motions to the, hunched drow. He's, very submissive compared to his very dominant presence.
Ah, yes. A common problem. Tell me, this city... You are well hidden.
We are
gives
hidden
me the impression...
from sight and magic.
It gives me the impression that this city does not approve of us.
We have inquisitors looking down to murder us for heresy on a near cycle basis. It is heresy to worship the dark, true goddess down here. I understand. I've seen... First few centuries of my life, I saw nothing but statues and art of Ivrith, and she does not stand a candle to Fal Umbral. We're talking a 2 up against a 10. It's just not a contest.
Very true. Nothing but, although that is hardly this city alone, the world itself does not appreciate my mother and her ways, alas. But...
We'll make them appreciate.
Exactly. We are here, obviously, we need shelter. We have just had a bit of a coming together with the Grand Church. So...
Well, we are no friends of the church here. You will have safety in this place as long as you do not bring danger to its doors. It would be quite hard for anyone to find you here. They would have to be incredibly determined and also have the benefit of time. I'm more curious about these lovely individuals you've brought here. A human.
Yes,
I've heard of
quite.
these.
I
I've
would,
heard-
at that, slide closer to Gil, maybe between Gil and her.
She sees that and kind of nods and clearly stops whatever train of thought she was on. Will say, your companions are safe here while you stay. Although, if any of them want to feel the embrace of the dark heaven, it might give you more luck on your journey. I always find it's best to hide with some blessings on the table.
I will encourage them, but at the moment we travel out of...
I have a discount slave who I can send to the dark heavens. It won't be much, but I'm sure it'll garner you a little bit of protection. She kind of motions to the guy to lumber off to find them.
Excellent. Well, in that case, as long as I am assured of our safety here, we will plan our next move in this city in time, but as you can no doubt tell, we fought an army with 5 people. Even with all the blessings my mother can grant us, that was not an easy battle to escape from.
If you want an army, that would not be something the Empress can give until she awakens.
No, that is not what I am suggesting. Your aid, as you can provide it, and a safe place to recuperate between fights. Things went a bit awry this time. We normally move a lot more silently and do not have to face down an entire army. So...
Of course. She will, kind of linger, but kind of leave you to yourselves for a bit. So if you want to start taking a long rest, you can.
Yep.
Vale would start attuning to the cloak again, obviously.
Yep. Okay, you can do that. At some point during this, from one of the chambers, a Grimlock will be taken out. The blind slave race. They look like they've already lived quite a long life. And this woman and a couple of other drow who seemingly look like followers string the Grimlock up over that pit. Quite literally hang them up over it by the arms.
Serena ain't doing anything.
Yeah, seeing if there's any sort of reaction.
Vale
I would
looks
not
away.
like it at all. But I wouldn't do anything.
What was that, Mr. Neal?
Oh, sorry.
Vale looks at it for a moment, and then looks down and looks away.
It's when you look away. There's some sort of mechanism. The mistress claps, and the Grimlock falls into the pit. There's a noise that is just not what you necessarily would have sort of expected, and is just not there anymore. The pit is quite shallow.
I assume that the pit is not something I'm familiar with.
You can give me an Arcana check.
I was more meant that there wouldn't have been anything equivalent. where I grew
No,
up,
this is
but,
unique.
yeah, no.
Or at least unique, not something every church has. No idea.
Yeah.
I mean, this was
Indira
clearly
is
a religious.
seething, by the way. She's just like sitting there seething.
Like a chunky cat to ruin, like, I'm seething. What?
All right. Well, if there's nothing any of you want to do during that rest, you can absolutely have it.
Riley would actually just ask Serena what the hell just happened. She's like, what the hell was that?
They were sent to my mother.
Okay. Simple enough. Doesn't ask any questions, takes her a long rest.
You can long rest. Whoop. Sleep, rest, bandage up, just not do anything for a while. Lay on the cold stone, because it's actually quite cold in this chamber, like pleasantly, you know, pleasant sort of coolness. And you're really not bothered at all. Clear that the people here do, you know, they watch you from the other side when they're in here. But
At some point, I assume we'd request food, and I assume
if you want,
yeah,
you would, if you request food, quite clearly a slave.
More like Serena would command food. But
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Someone quite clearly a slave. They're wearing that same sort of metal manacle thing that on the neck and the arms, but doesn't actually restrict the arms or the neck. It just shows that they would come and bring you food and water and all that sort of thing. The food would be pretty basic. It would just be a kind of semi-bland curry, that kind of tofu-ish substance in it, but it's food.
Whenever they come, Indira will like make a point to say thank you to them and give them gold.
They don't take it. Like you like try and offer gold to this person, and they just are very confused.
Give them a sock. That's how you free them. Everyone knows that.
Serena would be paying a lot of attention to Indira because she realizes this is not going to make Indira happy in any way, shape, or form, but she hasn't actually said anything.
Now, Riley, who's the one that like actually knows a bit about Underdark culture, like all of these races keep slaves, and it's the norm, and these slaves are probably bred slaves, so they don't know any different as well. This isn't like Tron, where it's like, oh no, you're just working. No, these are generations and generations of slaves who do nearly all the menial labor, and everything just not fun. So yeah, you offer them gold, they either straight up ignore it or politely decline. You thank
Indira's pissed.
you thank
She's
this
real
girl, and she will just sort of scurry away, not quite sure what to do. The slave who helps you seems to be some kind of half-elf. They have a kind of greyish skin and some sort of splotches on it, kind of a more creamish colour. But you can rest up and eat and can recover at the end of your long rest, so that's good.
Yeah, so after recovering, I would say, so now what's the plan?
We might wish to lay low for a few days before making any moves, but I would propose at the very least that our next target should be different. Do not go after the one they are expecting us to go after.
Indeed.
Do you think that maybe they will notice? Don't you think that maybe they will know now? And the rest of them will be on high alert?
It is entirely likely, yes, but we have tried to hit one of them. They likely do not know who we are targeting precisely. They likely know that we are targeting important people. They can probably connect the dots between the
Can you
future
give me
seer.
an intelligence check, please?
Because I'm also thinking that thing of that we got from the journal isn't like a mass-produced thing, was it?
No.
It was.
It's in his journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
I can't give you an exposition dump because you roll
Nope.
bad.
They would likely connect the dots between the death of the future seer and the attack on the Mad Priestess. that does not necessarily mean that they know exactly who we will hit.
We must attempt to think like they would think, thinking like we would think. So, we have hit the leader of the war camp. Next, we have gone after the war shogunate. It would suggest that we would go after the leader or the war shogunate again. However, this time, perhaps we will go for a support. Perhaps one of this weaponsmith or artificer. Perhaps even the high priest, but right now I am not feeling priests so much myself.
Yes, that is, they might make the connection between those involved in war, so the shogun, the mad
Military
priestess.
targets.
In which case, the weaponsmith would likely also be a target, which means by process of elimination, I would propose the artificer.
Agreed.
Okay, we can do that.
I would suggest that, unlike before, we do not simply settle on a target. Perhaps we spend several weeks now seeing what we can find out about this war strider and artificer. Perhaps some details will come to light that will affect our decision.
Indeed, maybe they have a routine that we can exploit to attack at their weakest point or something similar.
I still think that it would be wise for us to find new disguises.
Yes, as much as I do not like the idea of appearing as one other than myself, I do think at this point it might be necessary.
If Gilwyn or you end up in the street, you are asking for it, I think.
I
At a
Particularly
distance,
you.
I might still be okay, but any scrutiny would be dangerous, and Gilwyn is completely out now. It's entirely possible there will be a crackdown on human slaves.
think humans are going to pay.
So where can we get a fancy cloak like yours? Looks over at Vale.
Well, the person who gave this to me was the High King of Thundros, so, you know.
It's not likely we can.
This is a city of magic. It is a city, a large city. It is a city of intrigue. I would be very much surprised if there is not a black market for magic items.
Perhaps I ought to go and look and bring back what I can.
You
Not alone, but yes, I believe that those who can pass as drow one way or another should be the ones to look into it.
Indeed, and Riley speaks the tongue, which would be invaluable.
Absolutely. Plus, I'm a great negotiator.
In the time that you are searching and you are looking in for information about our other targets, it would also be wise for those who are not leaving the premises to learn the tongue, as it were. I'm sure that someone around here can teach me Undercommon.
I ought to learn as well.
Indeed. I would
I
suggest...
could host teaching classes, and you guys can all be my students, and everything will work out well.
Perhaps we do that with our evenings for now, while we're laying low.
I would suggest that we do our initial investigation for the shopping, and after that we lay low for a month. There is no point going out too soon when there are patrols and whatnot. Remember, this is a nation at war. They cannot afford to have their soldiers roaming their capital city for too long if they wish to mobilize for it.
I believe that a month might be so long that they do mobilize. Once they learn that the dragon is dead, which they might already know, they might attempt to go up.
In which case, we have the benefit of a less defended city.
We can also keep an ear to the ground, and signs of mobilization might cause us to expedite our plans.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ollie, but we had some way of sending a message.
You have a page of a book. If you write in that page, it appears in the book.
Gilwyn has sending, I believe, as well.
As well, yeah. But you have the book page thing.
Yeah.
But
The
it
idea
goes
for
straight
that,
to
though, was-
Aaron.
Yeah, the idea for that, though, was to draw the teleportation circle, I believe.
Yes.
But it's multiple use, isn't it?
It
like a
was
back and
one
forth.
page.
Oh, so it's not like Tom Riddle's diary.
No.
Yeah, that's
Straight
what I was
away.
thinking.
No, it's a one-page bang. You can
Alright,
see your
alright.
text history on this.
Yeah, so we need to use sending because it. Oh no, sending won't work because it doesn't penetrate that much stone.
Sending
does.
does.
Sending does.
Sending is anywhere on any plane.
Yeah,
Okay,
sending
sweet.
can go anywhere, but if it's
You just,
another dimension...
you just need to know the person.
In that case, we'd want to update Aaron, Alis.
That's entirely reasonable. That's what Gilwyn can do at the start of this. Because if you're taking downtime, then
Yeah.
that's absolutely what we can do. Just so you know, learning languages on downtime is an exclusive thing. You can roleplay
You have to
wise be
focus on
learning it
Yeah.
during your evenings, but it won't actually count for anything. Just so you know. But that's absolutely fine. So, with that in
So,
mind,
wait, how do we learn new languages then?
by spending dedicated downtime on learning new languages.
So you need a tutor to teach
So
you.
downtime is in weeks, right? And it takes a certain number of weeks to learn a language. You basically
Okay.
go, okay, say for example, you know, you had a week before you went to the Underdark. It's like, oh, I'm going to spend that week starting to learn a language. That week would be saved, you know, that would be part of it spent. But if you're spending this downtime and you're going off to investigate where the black market is, you can't spend that also learning a language because you've already spent it.
Maybe we should just learn the language first.
I
We've already
It
rushed
will
into
take several months.
I mean,
languages
like-
take forever.
I mean, I know, but like, what choice do we have?
It's totally up to you guys. You know, choosing to take downtime now is a big decision. I might recommend, you know, as Mr. DM Ollie, that you do take it on a week-by-week basis. Maybe start looking into a black market first and then see what happens. Because this is, you know, you're taking downtime in an enemy city. At any point,
and we
anything
also-
could go horribly wrong. The
also-
checks are going to be much harder than normal, you know.
Yeah, we also discussed that there might be a magic item that lets you speak Undercommon.
Right.
Yes!
So yeah, let's do black.
Because
market
so
first.
basically, there's kind of two ways we could go about this, right? If you want to look for a black market that sells magical items, that's its own thing. If you want to look specifically for a certain magical item, like something that can teach you Undercommon, that is its own check. Obviously, you can find a black market. Who knows what they're going to be selling, right? But then you know where a black market is, and that might be useful in the future. Whereas wherever you get this magic item, you know, it might just be a private seller. It might be whatever. It's really up to you guys. All of these are a week of time. They are also the ones where you can spend 100 gold to give you a +1 up to 5 times if you wanted to really nail it. And multiple people can make the same check. You just kind of have to basically have to decide who's doing what first.
Okay, here's what I propose, gentlemen. We find a black market, and then we ask the people at the black market if they have any leads on any of these magic items that we want.
Agreed. And see what they have for sale at that.
Yeah,
And
of
if we have to
course.
buy something stupid just to get them to talk to us, then so be it.
Money well spent, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we could
It
probably
might
also
so
use
just
potions.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
We could probably also use potions, and potions are not going to be readily available in the city at war, so black market might be the only way to get those.
Agreed. I'll do the talking.
I also need to re-up on health potions anyway. I want to
And-
get better ones.
At least for the first week, I am basically useless, so I'm going to be learning Undercommon. I would, if necessary, just get one of the slaves or someone from around here to...
It's 250 gold to start learning a language, so just pay that, you know.
Yeah.
There's worshippers here who will happily teach you. You start to find out that this is kind of like the Underdark shadow version of a hippie commune. Kind of, you know, there's these...
Nice.
They're
With
kind of like...
slave-
They're like families. No, I mean, yeah. That's just better. It's like the ones on Murder Mountain. Done. It's... So, you know, they are more than happy to help you learn a language. As long as you're polite to them, which, I mean, you're polite enough by Drow Society standards.
Serena fits in better down here than she does on the surface.
So, do the other 3 of you want to look for this black market?
Yeah.
I feel like somebody should stay with Serena, though.
I mean, Gilwyn
Well,
theoretically
it's
is
one of those
staying
things where you're not spending the whole week doing this thing. You're also taking time off. You're kind of
Okay.
going back and forth. But I will tell you, there's kind of a diminishing returns. If all 3 of you make this check to try and look for a black market, and you all succeed, well, that's 2 checks that you could have been doing something else with, right? On the other hand, if only one of you does it and it fails, then you're wasted a week. Just so you know, there's kind of a strategy to this, and who you want to spend doing what.
Question: How would we?
The one to roll.
How would we spend the finding a black market? Would that be like talking to people, persuasion?
So it could either be an investigation or a persuasion. Yeah.
All right,
When you
I
said,
will-
"Oh, I want to go talk to people," I immediately thought, "Well, you should do it as a persuasion check because you're trying to find shady people to ask about a shady thing."
I'm pretty confident in finding the black market because I have a pretty good plus to persuasion. So
So
I will definitely
Riley
roll.
will do
I don't
that.
know if anyone else wants to do it just in
I'll
case.
just follow you.
Riley will do that.
Just so you know, just sort of following him, her. I mean, that's totally fair. In case things gonna go wrong, it's actually totally fair. I was gonna say it's almost a waste of a week because you're not doing anything, but if Riley gets in a bad situation, I mean, Riley can turn
Question.
into a T-Rex, but that's fine.
Because she's following me and helping, so to speak, could I have advantage on the roll? And then she uses that to like help. You know what I mean?
I'm
Not,
also mad intimidating.
not really. It's not really how it works when it comes to downtime in this thing, right?
Fair enough. Okay. Well, I will roll my persuasion roll flat.
I believe.
Could Vale then spend the week asking people as a drow for an item that teaches Undercommon swiftly?
Yeah.
He's come into possession of a slave that
Yeah.
doesn't know Undercommon, and it's just ridiculous because they can't communicate with their other slaves.
Not every drow speaks uncommon, it's totally fine. That is a it's a persuasion check for finding a magic item, or an investigation, whichever would be better for you. That's fine. Let's go with this first, because this is actually a bit easier to do with 21. 21, you get up to X amount of magic items, tool quality. You go around the city asking around. I imagine you probably take a new disguise. It doesn't super matter who.
He's a drow rancher.
Oh yeah, you're using that one?
I got me a new slave, and they don't speak so good.
I wonder why.
A beetle sat on them for 6 minutes.
He was just trying to help. And you do get being a pirate, asking around a city like this for information on how to acquire something isn't super hard. These kind of magic items totally do exist. You're actually told about not only do you get a real good lead on an item that would actually completely cure this. It would be a belt that would teach Undercommon. It's meant for traders and things, and it is going to be of a price. In fact, you actually would know the price because you're investigating it, so I'm going to give you the price. It would be 12,000 gold for this belt. It's also going to do some other stuff too, but you're not wearing it yet. But you are also told about an amulet that supposedly allows someone to understand any language. There's some rumors about it, especially when you start talking to thieves and things like that. It's definitely, one of the white whale stories in the thieving community around here, because there's a lot of languages in this sort of part of the world, especially now that the world is growing.
It's kind of like a big Northern, but evil.
Not quite. But the rumors of that is, it would be in the hands of powerful diplomats and things like that. So that's definitely a rumor you get. The belt is 12,000 gold. It would also increase your persuasion with Drow, which is kind of neat, and increase their charisma for anyone wearing it.
I so want that.
Obviously, Vale doesn't carry around that sort of gold, so he would, on one of the nights, returning
Come back
to
and ask for
he
monies.
He would discuss it with the others.
That is rather a lot of money, but, well, it would be very useful.
And just to confirm, I presume this is an attunable item.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Indeed, it would solve some problems.
I mean,
Admittedly, for a lot of gold.
are we not about to go find the artificer? Maybe he even has an item like this. Or she. It's probably.
To find the artificer in a month.
Yeah, but it's like our next thing we're doing.
Yes, but the Drow tend to think of artificing. Let me say, I am surprised they have drawn a distinction between an artificer and a weaponsmith. I should imagine that the artificer spends most of their time with her will bent towards creating horrible weapons of war.
Could be.
If they are considered among the leaders of this entire situation, then that seems likely.
Jiang noted them as a warlord. It is obviously a term he has attributed to them, but nonetheless, perhaps we've put some stock in it.
Fair.
We should not assume that because she is labelled an artificer that she cannot fight or that she does not know of battle.
Well, let's see what I find on the black market, and then I'd be willing to give you any gold I had toward the cause.
Yes, I would. The money we gained from the Future Seer should allow us to pay for it if necessary.
I agree to hold off for the moment. Let me know what it is you find, if you find this black market, and we will discuss the matter again then.
I'll very likely be spending a lot of money at this black market.
So,
Ollie, do we find it?
yeah, give me a fucking moment. Jesus,
Oh,
chomping at the bit.
Jesus,
Oh,
Will, I'm
fuck!
I'm literally drowning in books.
Too many books ruins the session. Oh no. You don't
That really
necessarily
hurt my
find a black market. You do, however, find a thief. You make friends with a couple of people. I very much imagine you going and finding information is you and Indira going and getting drunk. And being very charming and whatnot in low places in the city. There's a individual who really keeps your attention because he... you're specifically looking for people who you think maybe... Not that you are, but people that you think maybe you could trust if the time comes.
Yep.
An individual you find, and one of the big reasons why you think this is that they're half drow, and that they talk about visiting the surface. This person talks about that they were born on the surface. This thief you meet is a thief, a bounty hunter, an assassin, whatever he can do to get the job done, is a half drow by the name of Hator. Grey skin, eye patch, quite a bit of a scar on the eye, hair swooped back, wearing the kind of things that you would expect, you know, a thief, bounty hunter, assassin to wear. Dark leathers, several blades, that sort of thing. He's like, well, if you need things fenced, I can fence items for you, I can look into item information for you. There's places where people like us go, where the Inquisitors are less likely to find a few beautiful women.
Well,
Keep it in mind.
we'll keep it in mind. I know where to find you.
Wherever there's wine.
Cheers.
And you'd also meet someone else. Because I basically did it as you doing carousing. Finding people who would be useful in finding a black market or are a black market. And he basically can help you look around for black markets in the area, being this kind of thiefy boy. But who else do you meet? What an interesting idea. Do. You, the second person you meet is, a merchant. Now, you actually know Riley, and actually probably Indira as well, being a pirate. Often, it's the merchants who have the best link to the black markets when they need to sell side wares or, assist in that sort of thing. And this is a merchant who runs like an old family stall, and she's quite an older drow woman, and unlike a lot of the drow you've met so far, it hasn't really become harder. She's actually become a little bit softer. She's the kind of person that you meet in this tavern and is quite happily drinking with the rest of them. The shop is sort of a bit of a general store, a little bit of everything, and when you talk about it, it's like, oh, is there something I could pick up? Some illegal magic items and potions and things like that. She's like, oh, sure. She can definitely give you an in on some, specifically potions, over the week, you notice guard presence increasing, and potions are definitely one of those things that are going to be cracked down on a little bit. Something you've sort of noticed is that, unlike some cities in the surface world, there's a lot more alchemy down here. There's a lot more magical reagents, a lot more magical plants. So there's a lot more potion crafting and potion shops in general. But she can definitely help you get the strong stuff. Her name is Kono. And she's a little fading, She's starting to go a little bit bonkers, but in a nice way, in a potentially useful way. And she also, sort of similar to Hathor, but a little bit better because she's a bit of her store is a reputable business. You can go in there, basically she can get you these semi-illegal potions for a bit of a discount. You can hide stuff with her, pretty much whatever you might need.
She's our fence now.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, does she have healing potions? Good healing potions?
Regular healing potions she would be selling for, let's say, she likes you. She'll give you a discount to 35 gold.
Okay.
Graters, let me check how much that would be. She will give you a discount, but even then they're still pretty expensive because they need to brew a long time. That's the thing with healing potions. They basically you distill them and ferment them, and they get stronger and stronger and stronger. Am I an idiot? Where's P in the alphabet?
LMNO.
I was on the other side of R. I don't know my ABCs. Okay. Potions of healing. Greater healing is only uncommon quality, so that's not going to be super expensive. She's willing to sell them to you for 250 gold each.
Okay.
What about supreme healing?
She can get you one or two of those, but they start there. That's where you start to get real costly. Of course, she's totally willing to buy fallen weapons of suspicious people, gemstones, like weird stuff that you find. A supreme healing potion, she will be selling them to you for 4,000 gold each, which is a significant discount.
I'm going to buy 4 greater healing potions. Is that okay?
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, but considering she's like, a fence, basically consider she has near unlimited stock of these things,
Okay.
because she will, you're like, oh, I need that. You come back in a couple of days. She will have
Alright.
that for you,
Cool deal. And then I would inquire about disguises.
Where she wouldn't really have anything other than cloaks to help with that kind of thing. She would mention that there's a mask shop that really sells to just about anyone. And they occasionally do magical disguises. Magical masks, which would create illusions and stuff like that. From what you've seen, masks are... how we say is like, oh, walking around with a cloak in a fantasy setting isn't weird. It's not suspicious. Everyone wears cloaks. They're comfy, they're warm, they're good for weather. Similarly, in this drow society, you see a lot of people wearing masks just for fashion. So even just as part of a disguise, wearing a mask is not actually that suspicious.
Okay.
Ooh, I would want to go buy 5 masks for everyone.
Definitely.
Okay. The mask shop
put the
is
mask in.
a little bit in its weird place all in its own. The sides of the single chamber of the shop are lined with all manner of masks that resemble all manner of creatures from all manner of worlds. And regular masks, well, it depends. If you want metal masks, they're usually around 5 gold. Anything other than that, ceramic could be a little bit cheaper. Cloth masks are even cheaper than that.
Do you know the movie Three Ninjas?
No.
I want the 3 of the masks to be like those. The only thing I could suggest is just Googling 3 ninjas masks, and I want 3 of the masks to look like those.
I would
I
would probably buy Gillen one. I would probably buy Gillen.
Yeah.
would look for-
That kind of semi, probably wrong term, but like almost kabuki-ish masks. Absolutely, that's core and standard. The standard material would be metal, which is a little bit pricey. They also make them out of bone, ceramic, pretty much anything. There's also those more, almost demon-esque samurai masks. There's many. Basically, there's also, the shopkeeper is like, depending on what you're willing to, what you're trying to both hide and project, we could create custom masks for you.
I would want a custom buck mask for Gillen.
Okay, that'll be 15 gold. You order it at some point and come by it, get it back another point in a week.
Out of curiosity, have we observed or know of the symbology about the Serpent Queen as an aspect of Ifrith?
Yeah, you know the symbol. You've seen it.
Yeah, because I'm just
times.
thinking, would it be appropriate for a ascended or priestess of the Serpent Queen
You've
to
never
have a
seen
mask?
one.
We've never seen one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why everyone mistook you for one, because they're
Yeah,
so
I'm
rare.
just.
It's, imagine it's going to be something you even ask about to them. It's like, no, they're not rare. They're just inside more. The Ascended of the Serpent Queen, which are called Lamia, they tend to be inside the churches offering their healing powers to them because they all get healing powers, and when they're not using their healing powers, they are reveling in pleasure and torturing people.
Because
and
I'm just
doing
thinking that
still
if,
very drow things.
The most appropriate thing for Serena would be a mask that makes her appear to be just another ascended but we don't really know.
I mean, wearing a mask that gives you that shows the symbol could be totally fine. As on like the forehead or something.
Yeah,
or
that's
even just a
probably the best
mask
one.
made out of snakeskin, or a snake mask would also probably sell the disguise a bit more. Something like that.
I
Yeah.
think Serena would definitely, assuming that like basically these guys come back and say, "Oh, we found a mask shop. What do you want?" Then Serena would definitely say a snake mask rather than one with a symbol. She doesn't want to wear no symbols that aren't the Empress.
Yeah. All right. Another 15 gold for your couture mask.
The
masks as they come back are very fine quality, and they're a combination of bone, metal, and cloth. They're actually comfortable as well, and sometimes even almost come with like hoods that can drape over. The buck one wouldn't so much, and the same with the snake one, but still.
Simple enough.
I would also purchase an octopus one for me.
Hey. Fun thing about the octopus one is that the tentacles actually can move and be kind of adjusted and stuff when you end up
That
getting
person has pride in their work.
this mask
rad.
shop. The person seems always very respectful, very soft spoken. Their name is Cos, because you're coming and going every couple of days. Seems quite wise, but doesn't pry into your returning and asking for more and more masks and things like that. What ones would you get for old Riley and you're just getting the basic ones for you?
Yeah, I would get the basic one for me. Just like blue and some yellow on it.
Yeah.
And then whatever I would buy for Vale if he wanted one, whatever he wanted.
A mask's a mask. Why do you just cover the face?
He's quite disdainful of it. You don't wear masks in Sun Elven culture. You wear like a full face helmet if you go on a war. That's your mask. But you never would wear a mask like it's not.
Vale, but you're wearing a mask every time you take the form of a drow. Is that not wearing a mask?
No, it's a full disguise.
Right, but is it not a mask still?
No, it is a full disguise. The mask is only on the face.
Well, you can do what you want, but I recommend you wear a mask.
I'm
From
fine
time
with,
to time.
I'm fine with wearing a mask, but a mask is a mask. It does not matter to me what it looks like.
Meanwhile, Indira comes back like, is our fucking bitch in couture mask?
I literally get, so like, if of those masks that I told you to Google, basically, the blue
Yeah.
one would be the one that I get. I would get the green one for Vale.
Okay.
Greens and blacks and reds.
That actually leaves us, kind of at the end of that week with you doing that and such. Actually a great time to stop for today. And you can keep on... It also gives you, a week of time to think about, hey, what is next?
What is our next step?
So, with that, why don't you talk a little bit about who you are, starting with Vale.
Hi, I'm Vale, also known as Neil or at Naghite. You can find me at Naghite on the Discord, which you should join, or at Naghite_ on Twitter. I am the best person, minus Ollie, to ask questions about Jarviskjir about, as I have played quite a bit. And me and Ollie share the great minds think alike thing. You can also find me on Wednesdays on twitch.tv/Daleric, which starts at 1:30 BST. And that is a Pathfinder campaign, Pathfinder Kingmaker style campaign. It's not the module, but it's in the style. It's in a homebrew world. It's very interesting. Things are starting to get quite interesting, and that's quite.
Do they have a flying T-Rex with shadow magic artillery on the back?
We
of
don't.
it?
It's very much more like, oh shit, this person's about to shoot you with a crossbow and that'll kill you. It's very Pathfinder is very different. It's more like Stars Without Number on the front of one shot can kill you if you're unlucky.
But Stars Without Number is good.
Yeah. It is. Agreed.
All right. That's enough of Neil.
I agree.
And then I just end the stream. Done. Will, who are you? Sell yourself. We got you for an extra week than we expected, and honestly, I think you might just keep showing up.
Whenever I'm welcomed and whenever I have the time, I will
Yeah.
show up because I love this and I always love playing under you. If you know what I mean.
I mean,
Hey.
Anyway, my name's Will. I have a YouTube channel that is youtube.com/by the way. I upload weekly stories. Basically, it's a vlog where I just talk about me and my weight loss journey and how I've been doing losing weight. I was just in LA this past weekend. Doxy was there. Her and I actually got to meet. It was really cool.
You
But
watched
the
me get my
video-
nipple pierced.
That happened. The video I just posted was
Is
of
of
me doing
Doxy
the
getting a
Hollywood
nipple
sign hike.
pierced.
No, I would never do that. It was a Hollywood sign hike. It was awesome, and it was PG.
That does sound cool.
PG-13. Because I swore a couple times because there was a snake. You can watch it in the video. It's pretty funny.
that sounds pretty.
But yeah, check out my YouTube channel. Honestly, that's all I got. I come on here when I can.
Okay.
Same.
There's Dean. Dean's gone now because he's working. He edits videos for Mathis Games and is
You don't
100% of the funny in that partnership. So check out Dean's work. Also, Dean cuts forth on music places to listen to his shit. And someone else I think is shit is Ian.
I don't want to say anything now. I'm Ian, Arvine, whatever you want to call me. It seems to have become tradition that Neil plugs the Discord and I plug the Patreon. But if you do want to ask me questions instead of Neil because you don't like Neil, I am also on the Discord. You can also ask me questions about anime. I am the Weeb Empress, and I will...
Literally, if you do it, if you want help, you
Yes.
will get it.
Yes,
That's true.
very much so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
you should
actually, there's
also...
I think there's like a free Crunchyroll thing on Twitch right now, so
It's
get
entirely
it and ask
likely, yeah.
Ian for help.
Yeah, it's entirely likely. But yeah, also Ollie has Patreon. If you subscribe to that for some dollars a month that I have forgotten.
$5. It's an easy
$5
number.
a month.
How many fingers you currently have?
You get access
On
to
one
a couple of sound-only D&D games, including one where I play a character the exact opposite of Serena.
Valid.
Yeah.
Ian's character Yulia in the Monday game is probably like top 3 favorite Jarviskjir PCs because she's like taken party mum to a new and literal level, and also just has cool magic and lots of interesting magic as well. But someone else who is magical is Doxy. Who are ya? How are ya?
Hi.
Sell
I'm hanging in there.
yourself.
How are you, Ollie?
I'm
How are
very
you?
hungry.
Me too. I have
You might actually,
getting cold.
the mic actually might be picking up my stomach gurgling.
My
Or
stomach was
need.
gurgling too. Anyway, I'm Zero Doxy. I'm not worth your time. I'll post my link in the chat though.
Hey, and then there's me. I am worth your time and money. I run 4 D&D games in a row right now, all in the same world at the same time. Saw some bitch on Reddit say, I ran 2 games in the same world and... No, 4. Get on my level. Come on. There's this show set in Narashiro, the Drow city in the Underdark. On Sundays at 12 midnight BST, there is another game currently taking place in Narashiro of Drow and Drow allied races that are... If you want to see like the ramifications of what this party's doing to the lower level like regular man, that's what this kind of combination is. Lots of reoccurring characters, lots of reoccurring things. These are currently ensembles. You should really check them both out. You may even get some hints about future targets that they need to take out.
Yep, I've already been noting everything about the Master
Well, I'm gonna go
Artificer
do
when
my
she showed up.
There's also 2 games on the Patreon for $5 a month because this show is supported by Patreon. There are actually some Patreon benefits in play in this game right now. Because if you give for a certain amount, you can get some things weaved into the story. But also there are 2 games. There is the Monday one, which is a bunch of... they have a mercenary, like, adventuring company And when the Friday is pirates. They're pirates. Well, they want to be pirates. Right now, they're not pirates. They might be one day.
Yeah, they're not like Indira and Vale.
No, Indira like had a ship. Vale
Has a ship. It's just
I have a ship, thank you.
That's true. Yeah.
just birthed at the
now.
moment.
And I'm going to go birth
A
food.
poo. All right.
I mean, eventually, right? I'll see you then.
You're just conceiving tonight.
Oh. Well done, Toxie.
No, we're actually on a way screen.